Hey everyone, Leo with the Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Eagle cake topper. We just released a set of cake toppers for various occasions about a month and a half, maybe 2 months back. And I thought, since this bundle pretty much caters to throwing a patriotic party, 4th of July, Memorial Weekend, whatever it may be, that we add a cool little cake topper. So you can get just a plain old cake and really jazz it up, make it appropriate and festive by just putting a little topper on it. So anyway, let's jump right in here and just kind of have to piece some things together, and then we glue it all together once we're all done. We're going to start with the backmost part of our beautiful eagle here, and that is made up of these two pieces. So we just need to glue these right on top of each other. So let's get that glue going and get this in place. Now, for those of you that have made well, actually we did this with an eagle once. We also did it with the hot air balloon, the bunting part of it. We added a little bit of dimension to the wing feathers by adding some score lines. We're going to take those and actually, we're going to do that now. We're going to start with the red layer here. You'll notice that we have a series of score lines on these three and these three little feathers. So what you want to do is just take and begin creasing and folding right at that. So do it gently the first time, up and down the little feather, and then as the fibers loosen up, you can give that a more pronounced press to give that some nice dimension. You can see how that works. And then we'll just do that with the rest of it. Very gently the first time, again, and then you can press it a little bit harder the second time, third time through. You don't want to crease it too hard the first time because it may not fold exactly in the center. So we're going to go easy at first, and then again, like I said, give that a good squeeze at the end there. And you can see the nice shadows and highlights that we're seeing as we move it around. And that's what creates the illusion of dimension. Well, it's actually not even an illusion. It truly is dimensional instead of being flat. Okay. As I mentioned during the assembly video for Uncle Sam, I did, in this case, on the red, instead of using a darker red, which doesn't tend to show up very well, I actually used some purple ink to darken the edges and create a little bit of contrast and interest on these little sections here. Okay, this can kind of cramp up your hand a little bit. Okay, there we go. So we've got that. And what we're going to do next is we're going to take and glue the white part on top of the red part. But before we do that, we have some more little folding that we need to do here. We may as well do it now so that it doesn't get in the way, or the red part doesn't get in the way once we get it glued down. It's just a lot easier to do this now than it will be later. Okay. So do your best to kind of crease that nice and easy. And then just as you loosen those fibers up, you can start kind of folding it a little more and more each time you go. This one is a little bit more delicate, so just be careful. There we go. That's enough. And we'll do the other side. Again, we just wanted to try to get this as dimensional as possible without, having to do too many pieces, but definitely a very unique, one-of-a-kind sort of cake topper that you will not find anywhere else, I'm sure. And just do it up with our patriotic colors, our red, whites, and blues. And it will definitely take any cake and make it super festive. So just take your time here, folding at the little score marks there to give this a little bit of dimension. There's also, you'll find, and we'll cover it here in just a bit, but we also have the same folds on the tail feathers as well. Okay, so just take your time, give those a little squeeze. There we go, just like that. Okay. All right. So as I mentioned, the red layer is the backmost layer, and what we're going to do is we're going to put glue on all of the sections that do not have score marks. Okay, so this top section here, we definitely need some glue. Throw some glue on there. Okay. And match up the topmost, whoops, let me grab this, a lot easier if you hold it in your hands like this. Match up the top tail feather, or wing feathers I should say, the ones that are not scored. Get those nice and lined up, like so. And press that down, make sure it's nice and flat. The rest of the feathers obviously should be dimensional and kind of sticking out, but that's what it should look like roughly. I was a little bit off with my gluing, but it's still going to be okay. All right, so there we go. And next, we're going to take this blue element, and that's going to get glued right on top of the white. We want to match that up as accurately as we can, like so. All right, so let's get the glue going here and work a little bit of that glue around the little cutouts of the stars, obviously. Careful there. Get some glue right out to the very tip too. We want that to sit nice and flat as possible. And I'm going to try to align that with the little feather on top first. Get that nice and centered, nice and aligned. There we go. And pardon my head if it's getting in the way. I got a big old head there. There we go. Perfect. All right. All right, so the back layer's done. You'll notice that on this blue piece here, there's a series of little markers there, and that's to help you center this part here, which we're going to glue on next. And that's going to start creating the body for us, okay? The rest of this is going to get foam squared. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Let's put some glue. We want to put the glue within the confines of the little area there that has the little markers. Okay, and then we'll take it and pop it right in there. Should be flush with the top. And again, right within those little markers, make sure everything is looking nice and aligned. And there we go. That is already looking awesome. Sorry, I know mostly only people from the United States are going to be watching this, but boy, the red, white, and blue, whoever picked them out, they are a great color combination. All right, so while we work on the rest of the cake topper, this would be a good time to put our little skewers in. And what you'll notice on this piece here, we have a series of little markers to help you with the positioning of those. Okay, so I'm just letting my hot glue gun warm up here. Shouldn't take long, actually. Actually, it's already ready. And I cut these to about 6 inches. You can cut them longer and then trim them later, depending on what type of cake you have. But what we're gonna do is, let me see here, from here to about here, which is about 2.5 inches. I would go about 2.5 inches of hot glue on this guy. Like that. Give it a little twirly whirl and just match that up with that little marker. Try to keep it nice and straight. There we go. And that should glue, or that should set pretty much instantaneously. All right, and the other half here, our other side, got 2 little skewers. Again, using the little guides there. Press that down. It's okay if it doesn't look, you know, if the glue kind of seeps out. We're putting another layer on top of this, so it'll all be nice and hidden. And there we go. Okay, so we'll let that set while we work on the rest of our little bird here. Okay, so let's grab this piece here. We got this white piece and this red piece. This is going to go on just like this. Okay, and we are just not going to put any glue on the tail feathers. Okay, so up to right about here, where there's a change in direction, and this one right here, where there's the 2 little valleys that meet, you do not want to go past that point as far as the glue goes, because we want those to kind of be suspended and just free floating, especially because we also need to train them. Okay, so I'm just going to put glue to about there, just like so. And that's going right on here. I'm going to use the hat as my initial guide for placement, and I'm kind of working my way down. There we go. And try to get those nice and aligned. There we go. Wonderful. Okay, perfect. So while we have this and it's setting, oh, by the way, there's also a set of little markers here, and that's just to help you with the positioning of the banner. But for these guys here, you want to go ahead and just kind of crease this gently at the folds to give these little tail feathers some dimension. These are a little bit easier since it's a straight, what's it called? A straight fold. It's not curved like the actual wing feathers. So this one should be a lot easier. This center one, fold it so that you're creating a valley and not a mountain. So you're just pushing down in the center instead of pulling it up towards you. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so technically what we can do is get this in place now on top of this section. We don't have to wait, we can do that now. And as you can see here, only this section here is actually going to be connecting to this. So what I would suggest doing is with a series of foam squares, just start placing them along definitely the center here. Okay, and then maybe we can maybe we can grab one there and grab one here just to kind of help keep it in place. If necessary, if your foam squares are not tall enough as far as their depth, you may need to double layer these. That's a possibility. So again, you can definitely take another layer and put it right on top to double it up if necessary. Okay, now we just need to make sure that we align this correctly. So just kind of use the tail feathers there. And I can actually tell that I am going to have to double these up because mine are not deep enough. And that's okay. They need to stand out taller than the skewers. If they don't, then they're not really doing anything. Okay, so let's pull the backing off of this. And then we can get this guy in place. And that's, you know what, nothing wrong with a little added dimension as well, if I do say so myself. There we go. Yeah, and that looks nice. That's got some great dimension to it already. Okay, great. So now let's put his head together, because all that's left after that is just the little banner, which is pretty straightforward too. Okay, so with the head, you start off with that section. We'll grab this red piece for the hat. Let me move this out of the way. And we're getting kind of delicate here, so go easy on the glue. No sense in caking it with a bunch of glue. All right. And just want to match that up like so. Always helps for me anyway when I pick it up and I'm able to kind of scooch things around between my fingers rather than trying to do it on a flat surface. Okay, so there we go. That's that. We've got a blue overlay. It's going to go like this. You just want to match that up with the hat, or the stars I should say, and just throw a few little dots of glue on that. You don't need a ton. Just like that. Okay, and like I said, just match that up with the little stars on the hat. Beautiful. Okay. All right, next, we've got a little black piece for the beak. You know what, what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to glue, I've got a gold piece that's going to go on top of the black piece, and then we'll glue these together in one fell swoop onto the actual head. Okay, and just want to match that up. I'm going to actually hold this. I feel like I can get more accurate if I'm holding both pieces. There we go. Press that down with a clean part of my hand. There we go. And then take this, flip her over, throw a few dots of glue on the back, and I just want to match this up. You can see the little shadow area where the beak is. So just match that up right there. Press that down. There we go. I'm gonna use a black rhinestone. There's actually a little marker there for where you want to put his eye. Okay. And technically, if you want to draw it in, you can. But our eagle also has a little bow. So grab the blue part of the bow, throw a few little dots of glue on there, flip that over and pop it right on top of the shadow portion on the red. I need to pick this up. And I had it upside down actually. So don't make that mistake. It's a tiny little piece. It's okay though. There we go, just like that. And press that down. And then we'll pick up this whole element here. You'll notice that right here at the bottom of the neck, there's a series of little markers. There's actually like two little V shapes. And those V shapes are for the tails of the bow. They should pop right into that little section there. So definitely use those as a guide. There we go, beautiful. All right, now I'm gonna take this and you can put this down flat if you want. I'm actually gonna use some foam squares on this. That part is a little bit skinnier than the actual head itself. So don't be alarmed if it doesn't seem to fit properly. But I'm just gonna do probably just 3 little foam squares. Should be plenty. Okay, and just want to match it up with the tail, the neck feathers. Okay, so use the neck feathers as your guide and then press it down into place, just like that. Okay, that's looking awesome. All right, again, let me see. Let's just do this now while we put the bow together so that we're not waiting. For the bow, there's a little area there in the center. There's like a little circle. You can put a little gold rhinestone in there to dress that up. And then again, as I mentioned, for the eye, I've got a black rhinestone. So I'm literally just going to put a drop of glue right there in the center and take my gold pearl, pop that right on there and let that set. Okay, and then as I mentioned, we do have a little marker to help you with the placement of the eye. Put a little drop of glue on there and then throw that in there. I use the tip of my dowel to get that in place. Perfect. Okay, and I don't think we're adding any more bling to, well, there's a couple more little things, but all right, so he's almost done minus the banner. So I'm gonna put him off to the side. I'm gonna leave him right there so we can still see him and admire him. This is the back layer of our banner. Top layer is made up of these 3 parts. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue this gold to the white, and then we're gonna put this blue overlay on top of it so that just a little bit of that gold shows through around the perimeter. Okay, and then there's, that's actually gonna be doubled up. There's gonna be a little foam square between the 2 layers of the banner just to really make it dimensional. Okay, so I'm putting glue on this would be the gold element. Now there's some tiny little cutouts here. They're kind of free, like dangling here. And we want to make sure that we get a little bit of glue on those so that they don't accidentally rip or get torn off or anything like that. Okay, and that's going to go on this white piece. Again, a lot easier if you kind of hold it. You can use your fingers to kind of feel that the 2 layers are, touching and nice and flush. I'm going to flip it over so I don't blemish the gold foil and press down from the other side. Get that in place. There we go. That looks great. And now we'll put our blue portion on. Same thing with this. Just make sure that you add a little bit of glue onto these little free hanging areas along the number 4, the H, the Y. Okay, and we're just going to put the blue piece down onto the gold. And this is the top layer of our banner. So that's ready to go. Actually, not quite. We do have these 2 white stars that we need to glue down. Just throw a little bit of glue on there. And just match up the 3 points of the existing star. Again, a little easier if I just lift it up a little bit, hold it in my hands. There we go. And again, A little gold pearl in there would definitely make it a little more festive. So definitely bling it out. I'm saying definitely a lot. Sorry about that. Definitely enjoying these projects. That's why I'm saying it. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right, so that's ready to go. And then we just have one more little layer to put together here. And this is these little pieces here. You can see there's a little tip. That is going to go right here. What we want to do is just try to get this as centered as possible, like that. So it kind of gives the illusion of it being dimensional. Okay, so I'm just going to throw a little bit of glue on here. Now I'm gluing cardstock to foil. And this is important that we try to get it in the right place the first time. And because this gold can get blemished pretty easily. Just try to ensure you have a pretty even border around the perimeter of this blue piece. And I didn't put glue completely around the perimeter of the blue, just in case I needed to move it around a little bit, but that looks good. And then we'll finish it up on the other side, like so. Just thin that glue out a little bit. You want it to be a little tacky, especially when you're gluing onto foil, because it won't slide around as much. There we go, just like that. That's good. Okay, so that's done. Now what we're going to do is take and add some foam squares, and you can see how beautiful that looks now when we put it all together. So let's flip that over and start applying some foam squares here. I'm going to go pretty light on the foam squares because, of course, this piece is pretty light. And I don't really want it to be visible. I don't want to see the foam squares from the sides either. So, you know, I'm just going to be very sparse with it. 3 should do the trick. Get that nice and centered. I'm kind of using my fingers here to feel and make sure that I've got it properly aligned. And there we go. Okay. As I mentioned, I do plan on, and I'm going to do it right now, throw in a little gold pearl in the center of both of these stars. I'm not using my pick-me-up tool because I don't really think I need it. These pearls are pretty good size. And it also helps if you put the glue exactly where you want it. It almost is like a little vacuum that just kind of grabs that pearl and just pulls it in. Okay, get that nice and centered. There we go. Happy 4th. Now, by the way, the cool thing about this is you can use this banner, and if you want to customize it, you can do so. And maybe that's a great idea for a live stream. Maybe we could do that. Okay, anyway, with that said, now we do have, again, as I mentioned, this little marker here along his little belly, and that is to help you with the positioning of the banner. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I don't think that's fully dry yet, so I'm going to kind of hold it in my hand here. But yeah, we're going to take this, and I think, you know what, let me do this. Let's see, how far down does this go? I'm just going to put some foam squares right along his waist here. So I'm going to do one here. I'll pull that off. And I'll do another one here. And then maybe do like a tripod formation where we put a third one in the center, like so. And peel that off. And attach our banner. Again, just make sure that you have it nice and centered before you commit to placing it. And let me take a look here. Let's do this. Okay, the center point would be probably right there at the round part of the P. Okay, and that's going to go right about there. And voila. And there she is, or there he is. Beautiful, look at that. One of a kind for sure. So that's pretty much it for this. I am just in love with how it came out, and I cannot wait to incorporate it into one of my cakes. Well, I actually have a cake tomorrow that I have to pick up for the photo shoot, and luckily it's Memorial Weekend, so we get to enjoy it even though we're a little early on the 4th of July. But this gives you plenty of time to think this out and plan your patriotic festivities for the 4th of July. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, head over to our YouTube, hit that subscribe button while you're there, ring the bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be paid or free. you'll also be notified when we go live. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I would love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can type in this little URL that you see here at the bottom of your screen. So happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and also please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.